Hello and welcome to Zgermanguy Reviews. I am Zgermanguy. You know what type of movie I usually don't like? Based on a true story films. The problem with this type of story is that you never know what is and is not true. Of course, you want to make a movie and therefore need some drama, which can only happen if you invent certain things or dialogue. But what it ends up doing is that I have to look up books or videos from historians to tell me what the actual real story was, which creates this awkward question. Why bother making a movie in the first place? Not to mention all the times when the purpose of the story is to make propaganda. Margaret Thatcher was a very great leader. And not someone who together with Ronald Reagan completely fucked over the entire Western world. Then again, there is an argument to be had if it's good to destroy Britain. Anyway, I am telling you this because today's movie, according to its description, is based on the real life of a person. So let's find out what that story is. This is The Hairstylist. We begin the movie with a display of the wonderful craft of hair cutting. Shown here what I presume is inside the dressing room of a K-pop band. Ooh! Yukio! Have my baby! We meet the protagonist of the film named Kati, who, as it is natural and part of the job description of a hairdresser, tells her customer her entire life story. Well, I still prefer this over a dentist asking me how my holiday was. So, what is your opinion on the current geopolitical situation? Please use a minimum of 500 words. We see her daily life and how she has to deal with her weight. And, I'm sorry, but are you honestly walking behind her playing the trumpet? We see the young woman visiting the unemployment office, the place that tests your strength of will more than any ancient Buddhist temple ever could. However, once every now and then the Lord makes a miracle happen, and Kati is given new work, which she really needs as just recently she broke up with her husband and now has to care for a child all on her own. But when she shows up to her new job, she is told that a hair salon is a place with certain aesthetic standards, and she is, well, not that. Quick reminder that equal opportunity only exists on paper. So yeah, one of the themes in this movie is the discrimination of heavy people, and that is really smart. Everybody always talks about discrimination that is obvious, race, gender, but nobody talks about discrimination that is less obvious, but just as damaging. For countless millennia, our people had to suffer great injustices. Wait a second. Ha! Move it, you fatties! Move it! I got a new diet you can try out.
Dust!
She returns home and does some frustration eating. Her daughter's friend wants to pick her up for a concert, but Kati offers to make them a bit extra pretty. While doing so, she tells the story of how she met her father. So, this is now a story within a story told by me as a story. Guys, we need to be careful not to become Inception on low budget. Next day, she decides that she won't give up so easy and returns to the hair salon. But then all of a sudden, she has an all-new idea. Directly across is a Chinese restaurant that was closed recently. and where others see just empty space, she sees the future. In 10 years from now, there are going to be closed stores all across the country. Because for my revenge I will cause a recession. Straightforward as she is, she goes directly to the manager of the mall, asking to take over the place. And she agrees, telling her that she knows how it feels like to be not taken seriously. Big chonker solidarity. Only thing she needs now is a bunch of documents and a rent for a month in advance. She's motivated, she's inspired, she ends up back on the couch. You know, when I first started out making videos, I told myself that I would spend at least 35 hours a month investing in my hobby. My account is currently minus 700. Damn you all, you excellent video games and Netflix! Damn you all to hell! We get a quick look at her relationship with her daughter, which is not all that great. Then she walks all over Berlin searching for someone who will give her some money to start her business. But they either don't believe it will work out, or they are some con men who suggest ideas like a mobile hair salon. Oh, I got an idea like that. Why not a fitness studio that is also a fast food chain? We are going to trap them in an infinite loop. You will have to ignore the smell though. Anyway, eventually she decides the mobile hair salon wasn't so bad of an idea after all, but she does it under her own conditions. With another misfit, she earns her first real money in a while by going to an old folks home. But the plan backfires because one of the ladies dies during her procedure, which brings her in trouble with the police, as all this money was earned without a license. So the caretakers just let in 2 women with a bunch of hair dryers. Must be the female equivalent of 2 guys getting in anywhere with a ladder.
Thank you. How's your day? Yeah, alright, thank you.
This happened at the worst possible time. Kati has little time left before the first rent is due, and she hasn't even opened her salon yet. So she does something very questionable. She steals her daughter's savings that she was hiding under her bed. Nah, it's fine, I'm cool, she's cool, we're all cool, it's cool. Wanting to give her the stolen money back as fast as possible, she turns to some illegal activities by driving from Berlin to Poland and smuggle in some Asian people. My knowledge about geography isn't the best, but isn't North Korea located somewhere else? Her co-smuggler gets a motor damage, so he takes her car, leaving her alone on the street with a dozen illegal immigrants. All things considered, this is still better than eating salad. She is forced to spend the whole night in some town whose name looks like the result of someone having a stroke on his keyboard. Thankfully, the guy comes back, but he tells her there is trouble with the police, so they have to bring all the Asian folk to her apartment. This was the final straw for her daughter, who returned to her father in his perfect little bourgeois home. They make up eventually and return, to find that her temporary colleague in crime has not picked up the immigrants yet, so they have a comfy pizza party. And so this big Vietnamese family now lives with her. Ha! If you had told me at the start of this week. And remember, all of this is the result of petty revenge. Her guests don't only provide cultural enrichment in a home by making it look like a restaurant, no, they also help her fix up her saloon. Moral of the story, no business works without illegal immigrants. Another nice thing happens to our dear Kati. She falls in love with one of the men. I mean, I am happy for you, but this does have a little bit of a order husband online vibe to it. Kati returns to the mall in a very good mood, for today is the day she will open her own shop, but because of some regulatory bullshit, she isn't allowed. And it isn't even that big of a deal. One small financial injection would solve the problem, but...
I'm the government, I'm the government, I'm the reason nothing works.
All the stress and setbacks were too much for the poor woman, and so she wakes up one morning unable to feel anything in her foot. so they sent her to the MRT for horses. Not because she's overweight, but because she's claustrophobic. Always with your assumptions.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
To add insult to injury, the woman that didn't want to hire her before now offers her a job, saying she found it impressive what she set up. But our dear Kati tells her straight to the face she would rather cut off her own fingers than a single hair for her. Which brings us back to present day.
Sind Sie zufrieden? Mhm. Also ich bin's jedenfalls.
And that was the Hairstylist. It's good, but with some flaws. What I like about the story is that it's free of American cliches, by which I mean she pulls herself together one more time and then she not only opens her own business, but she also beats the competition with one arm tied behind her back. One question I always had at the end of The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. There were these 20 applicants who all wanted the same job, but because Will Smith's character worked so hard, almost to the brink of his own destruction, gets it. Okay, so what happens to the other guys? I don't find that thought at all inspiring. No, this is a more realistic story. This is not a story about a person who keeps going and then gets rich. This is the story of a person that keeps going and finds happiness not in her accomplishments, but in just being. How much of this all is true is just speculative, of course. The daughter character and her relationship with the mother should have been explained a bit better, because I'm still trying to figure out what exactly drove her away at first. Did she blame her for the divorce? Did she find out that her mother took money from her? Yeah, it didn't came back after all. I mean, sure, having a dozen migrants in your home all of a sudden is strange and a bit frustrating, but I don't see why she was angry at her for that. There must have been more going on. It's not laugh out loud funny, but somehow that mildly amusing tone actually fits the movie pretty well, as a short little story about one person's life. There should be more movies like these, some that take all the typical from rags to riches elements but then leave out the riches part, because it's stuff like those stories that create unrealistic expectations. The implicit idea, the myth that the capitalist system is flawless and really does sort people perfectly according to their abilities, to what they deserve. Everyone can be a millionaire. With 1 in a million chance. Also, you need to have a massive amount of luck, decent education, a functioning family, and a whole lot of other factors that no one has any control over. But aside from all of that, yeah, it's all hard work and willpower. Fuck those other 999,999 people. Zgermanguy out and auf Wiedersehen.